You're watching an introduction to the flipped classroom for parents. The purpose of this video is to introduce you to a new style of teaching and learning called the flipped classroom. Let's get started. In a traditional classroom like the ones you and I grew up in, pupils sit in rows or groups facing the front of the classroom and listen to the teacher present the lesson for most of the class period. After some brief discussion, if time allows, they are assigned a set of practice problems or questions to bring home to do individually for homework. Then they come back to class the next day to follow the same routine. Often there is little time for clarifying concepts or relearning before the teacher needs to move on to the next topic or concept. Teachers are finding that this is not always the best way to help our pupils learn, for many reasons. Here are 3 of them. Number 1, each pupil learns at a different pace. In any given lesson, most pupils do just fine. Some understand the content quickly, and then there are other students who learn at a slower pace and need more time than we have in class to process the information. In a traditional class, teachers are not able to reach all of their pupils every day. Number 2, homework often consists of questions that pupils can't do on their own quite yet. So they either find someone to help them, write something down to make it look like they completed the homework, or they copy a friend's work. Either way, a traditional approach to homework often falls short of facilitating effective learning and understanding of material, and it can become a waste of time. This is not helpful to our pupils or respectful of their time and effort. Number 3, pupils miss school throughout the year for a variety of reasons. This is a big deal as class lessons often build on one another. Thus the pupil has to come in on their own time, often missing other classes in the process, and the teacher has to re-explain the whole lesson to the pupil. This is not an efficient use of anyone's time. All of these problems can be resolved with the flipped classroom. So what is the flipped classroom? What follows are the very basics. If you want to know more, please feel free to visit the resource section on the Stirling Primary Communicator. What was normally done at school is now done at home, meaning pupils will get the lessons at home via videos, no longer than 5 minutes. They can watch the video on smartphones, tablets, or computers wherever they might be. Where do they get the videos? Pupils will be provided with a web address or URL to visit, or they can scan a QR code with a tablet or smartphone. No internet at home? No problem. Pupils have access to the school's computer labs in the afternoons after school. Here they can watch the videos or save them to a flash drive to watch at home later. Pupils take notes during the video, making sure to pause, rewind, rewatch, or even fast forward as needed. They learn the lesson fully at their own pace and are in charge of their own learning. When they finish the video, they are encouraged to do a whisk, which is watch, summarize, and question. This process makes sure that the pupil takes the time to process the information learned and writes down any questions or concerns they might have, or areas that need clarification. Pupils are not expected to master the material just by watching the video, but they are expected to understand the basics and bring confusing topics to class to discuss and get clarified. So, since they get the lesson at home, what do they do in class? Well, this is the fun part. Pupils will be able to participate in discussions about the material and get their questions answered and misunderstandings clarified by teachers and perhaps even their peers. This is a great way for pupils not only to cement their learning, but to collaborate to solve a specific problem. It also encourages pupils to think more critically and assess what is important. They will still do practice problems or assignments that they would have done at home, but with the help that they need whenever they need it, so they don't get as frustrated. Any questions that they have are answered right away. Because of the extra time in class, pupils can now engage in rich learning activities directed by the teacher that promote higher order thinking, such as analyzing problems, applying the concepts to real life, evaluating their work and the work of others, and creating their own material to share. The flipped classroom is a much more exciting and engaging environment to be in. Pupils have an active role in their learning rather than passively sitting and listening to the teacher talk all lesson. Teachers are very busy throughout the lessons, helping students one-on-one and in small groups, answering their questions and challenging them to think deeper. This can be exhausting, but so worth it when pupils start to take responsibility for their own learning and really master the material that has been set out for them. Stirling Primary teachers are very excited about the introduction of the flipped classroom. It may take some time for your child and for you to adjust to the expectations that a flipped lesson might entail, but we invite you to support this process. Please continue to encourage your child to do their very best and to communicate any concerns they may have regarding the flipped classroom to their teachers. Should you want to know more, please check out the resources section on the Stirling Primary Communicator or get in touch with Mary Lou Berendt, the ICT Integration Specialist at Stirling Primary.
Created using Powtoon.